Good afternoon and welcome to this trip report. We're starting off this video at Montreal's Lionel Groulx metro station, where I'm boarding the 747 STM Express bus to Montreal Pierre Elliott Trudeau International Airport. The ride from Lionel Groulx to the airport is non-stop, taking about 20 minutes during non-rush hour times of the day. It's 1:30 p.m. right now as I step off the bus here at the airport, and my Air Canada flight to Toronto departs at 4 p.m. I have to drop off my checked luggage by 3 p.m. at the latest, but I left downtown quite early, so I'll have plenty of time. My flight today is on board Air Canada's Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner in their business class cabin, so with my ticket I'll have access to the Maple Leaf Domestic Departures Lounge, which we'll tour in full in this video. The bus stop is on the arrivals level at Trudeau Airport, unfortunately at the opposite end of the terminal from the Air Canada domestic check-in. So to get to departures, I have to go up a level and walk down to the other end of the terminal. Finally reaching the Air Canada check-in area, most of the area is filled with self-serve check-in kiosks. For business class travelers, there's a dedicated priority check-in area which is open to travelers in Signature, Business, Premium Economy, or Premium Rouge, to all Aeroplan members holding status, and to economy travelers on a Latitude fare. The whole check-in area was fairly quiet, so having access to the priority line didn't make much of a difference today. With the business class ticket, my baggage also receives priority handling, which means it should be one of the first off when we arrive in Toronto. At the check-in counter, the agent also told me which lounge to go to after clearing security and how to get there. Leaving the check-in area and heading to security, from past experiences I was fairly confident that there was a priority line for business class travelers, but I couldn't seem to find the entrance to it. Nonetheless, it was dead quiet, and from entering to exiting security it took no more than 5 minutes. After exiting security, I'm heading towards gate A2 to access the domestic Maple Leaf Lounge. My flight today is set to depart from gate A51, which, as you may have guessed by the numbers 2 and 51, is very far from the lounge. I guess I'll be getting my steps in today. Even then, it shouldn't be more than a 5-minute walk, according to this map of the terminal. It's looking quite busy down in this end of the terminal, with a flight boarding through gate A1 as I pass by. There are several restaurants and fast food places here as well, including Starbucks and Tim Hortons. There's also an Air Canada customer service desk next to gate A1. The lounge is located up on the second level, accessible by either an elevator or stairs. In accordance with Quebec's proof of vaccination policy, which came into effect in September 2021, for entering restaurants and other non-essential services like gyms and bars, you need to show your proof of full vaccination against COVID-19 to enter the lounge. Upon reaching the upper floor, there's a model of the Air Canada Boeing 787-9, which is the aircraft that we'll be flying on over to Toronto this afternoon. After a quick scan of my vaccine QR code and a look at my boarding pass, I'm free to head in. Access to this lounge is open to all domestic travelers on an Air Canada business class ticket and to Star Alliance Gold members. Some first impressions: the appearance of the lounge is quite outdated, a fairly stark contrast from the newly renovated Air Canada International Maple Leaf Lounge at Trudeau Airport. You can also check out the review from that lounge and business class on Air Canada's Boeing 737 MAX on my channel. On the upside, the views from the lounge are quite good, looking out over the apron for gates 1 through 11. Throughout the lounge area are hand sanitizer stations and disinfecting disposable hand wipes. And in areas where seats are located side by side, every second one is blocked for social distancing. Leaving the main lounge area by the windows and heading around the corner, there's an area with soft drink dispensers and beers on tap, all of which are out of order due to COVID. Continuing past that, there's a counter area with food and beverages available, with an attendant behind the counter to take your order. There are 2 different service menus, one for before 10 a.m. and the other for 10 a.m. to close. The 10 a.m. to close menu includes different wraps and salads, or cookies, chips, and granola bars. The drinks available include soft drinks, juices, water, tea, or coffee, and there are wines and spirits available as well. In addition to this service counter, there are hot food items available to order. The menu for these items is accessible via a QR code that can be found on your table or on a surface near any seat in the lounge. Available on the order menu were vegetarian pizza, smoked meat sandwiches, quesadillas, cauliflower soup, salmon leek pie, or tuna poke bowls. Before placing my order, I went to the seating area behind the service counter, found a seat, and placed my order from here. The QR code you order from is linked to that specific location so they know where to bring the food to. After settling in, I ordered the saffron cauliflower soup with croutons and a quesadilla, with passion fruit infused panna cotta for dessert. All the food items arrived within about 5 minutes. The soup was very tasty, and the quesadilla was served with sour cream and was truly minuscule. But then again, that may have been a kid's menu item. Also delivered with the food boxes was a cutlery packet containing a sanitizing hand wipe, serviette, salt and pepper packet, and a plastic fork, knife, and spoon. After finishing up my lunch, I've still got about 70 minutes until my flight starts to board. Looking around this area, there are lots of lounger-style chairs and some recliner chairs over by the TV screen. There are power outlets located near some of the seats, but they're sparsely located. I'm gonna head back over to the seating area near the windows now and set up there for the next hour to do some work. The lounge isn't terribly busy this afternoon, which is nice by comparison to the gate areas down below us. In addition to the lounger chairs in this area, there's also a high table with chairs and power outlets accessible to every seat, ideal for setting up and doing some work while waiting for your flight. I, however, am feeling the need for a slightly more laid-back chair. After getting settled, I decided to run back over to the food service counter and grab a couple drinks, a bottle of orange juice, and a water. Note that the tables in this area also have the QR codes for ordering food. At my seat, there's a power outlet located on the wall with 2 USB 3.0 charging ports built into it as well. While using my laptop at the seat, I tried to get onto the lounge Wi-Fi network only to discover that there wasn't one. I thought this was pretty strange, but thankfully Trudeau Airport has complimentary Wi-Fi for all travelers, so I was able to just use that. It's just after 3 p.m. now, so as I get ready to head out and down to the gate, some final comments on the lounge. The food service is decent, not quite as extravagant as the international lounge, but I'd say better than I was expecting. In terms of the decor, the dark wood and metal siding gives it a very outdated and not so warm and welcoming feel. I'd say it could definitely use a refresh. And on that note, goodbye for now to the lounge, and let's go get on board our Dreamliner. Gate A51, where my flight is due to board, is one of 2 swing gates in between the domestic and international areas, which alternate between being used for domestic and international flights. This divider is used to block access from either the domestic or international side, with access open to the domestic side for my flight today. The gate area is very busy, with about 10 minutes to go until boarding is due to begin. The waiting area consists of back-to-back rows of seating. There are charging stations provided by TELUS scattered around the area as well. I'll be boarding with Zone 1 today, which is the first group permitted to board the aircraft. This zone consists of business class passengers and Aeroplan Elite members. Boarding commenced just a few minutes early at 3:17 p.m. We're boarding the aircraft through 2 doors today, one designated for business class travelers and the other for economy and premium economy. Stepping on board and turning immediately to the right, we're now standing in the business class cabin. This cabin consists of 30 fully lie-flat pod-style seats in a 1-2-1 seating configuration. For this flight, I'm booked in seat 7A, which is the second to last window seat on the left side of the aircraft. Every seat is angled away from the aisles, so the single window seats on the sides face towards the windows, and the 2 seats in the center of the aircraft are angled towards each other. I find this gives a lot of privacy, as you never have someone looking at you from their seat. First thoughts on the cabin in general, I think it's absolutely stunning. The colors and materials used give it a very clean-cut and modern appearance, and the cabin has a very bright and spacious feel. In terms of luggage storage at the seat, there's space on the floor in front of the seat, but there's also tons of room in the huge overhead bins up above. Now, let's get started on the seat tour. Each business class seat is equipped with an 18-inch personal entertainment screen that's controlled through either touchscreen or remote. We'll tour the entertainment system content later on in the flight. The remote for the system is stored in a compartment to the left of the seat and pops out for use. Also in this compartment are an AC power outlet, a USB 3.0 port for charging, and a headphone port for connecting to the system audio. When using the ports, the cables conveniently feed through a gap in the lid to allow you to continue using your phone or other device while it's charging. A very simple but thoughtful touch on the design of the seat. Just below this compartment is a screen for controlling some of the seat features. In the ambiance control menu, you can adjust the window dimmer for the 2 windows at the seat. You can also do this from the buttons on the wall panel under each window. The window dimmers on the 787 Dreamliner continually impress me for how well they block out incoming light. They do take a little while to come into full service, but are very effective once they do. You can also control the in-seat lighting, which includes the floor lighting under the seat and the overhead lighting on the panel above. Toggling through the lighting control for the overhead panel, there are 2 lights for the seat, and you have the option to have either one on or both on at the same time. Located next to the lights are 2 personal adjustable air conditioning vents as well. You can also call for service from a flight attendant through the control screen, and there's a comfort control menu which allows for adjustment of the seat position, including headrest support, lumbar support, and the massage function. The last light in the seat, which is not controlled by the screen, is a small reading light which pops out from the panel adjacent to the headrest. The flight attendant was extremely kind and helpful in demonstrating some of the seat features to me, including the tray table, which slides out from its storage position under the entertainment screen and folds outwards for full use. She also brought by a small bottle of water as a pre-departure beverage. Pre-COVID, any beverage of your choice would usually be delivered prior to pushback from the gate. Back to the seat, on the right side is a leather-padded armrest, which at the push of a button can be raised to usable height. It does, however, have to be lowered for takeoff and landing. There's also a small storage cubby here, though I can't imagine wanting to use it for anything other than garbage, since it's directly on the aisle. Looking at the area under the entertainment screen, there's lots of space to stretch out, but you're also able to store some luggage items here if you wish. On the right panel, there's a small pocket, possibly for storing a laptop or some reading material. There's also a footrest, and on the left panel next to the cabin wall, there's another pocket where the provided reading materials are stored, and a small dish-like indent for putting keys or other random articles, I guess. There's also a hook underneath the seat side ledge, though the hook is quite close to the floor, so it would be better suited for hanging a purse or small bag rather than a coat. There is, however, a very subtle coat hook near the top of the pod wall. Now, let's check out the seat recline and full lie-flat position. The control for this is a simple up or down button located on the left side of the seat next to the main control panel. I'll admit the seat is a little creaky on the way down and it takes quite some time, but it does get there eventually. The full lie-flat mode is pretty impressive, however, and I certainly wish I was able to enjoy it on a longer overnight flight rather than this short 1-hour hop. As it extends, it slides your legs neatly under the tray table and the entertainment screen. Now that I've finished running around the seat area, I can buckle up as we near our departure time. The seatbelt in these seats is a simple cross strap across the waist, though it's quite well padded and very bulky. About 10 minutes after I boarded the aircraft, the flight attendant came through with Clean Care Plus kits, which Air Canada distributes to all passengers on all of their flights as a part of their commitment to passenger safety during the pandemic. In today's kit, we have a multi-layer face mask, some sanitizing hand wipes, and some individual packets of hand sanitizer. The hand sanitizer packets are what they call V-shapes packets, which are actually pretty neat. There's a fold line down the middle, and you simply bend the packet across that line until it snaps and releases the sanitizer. It's a lot easier to get the sanitizer out of these packets than some of the other ones that I've been given over the past year. Now that I've geeked out over the sanitizer packaging, it's time to settle in for the flight.
For your safety and comfort, please stow items identified with a white tag under the seat in front of you. Other carry-on items may be stowed in the abandons. On this aircraft, roller bags...
Our view out the window is still blocked by the jet bridge as we finish up loading. The business class door is already closed, and we're just finishing loading the economy passengers and baggage. It's 4 p.m. now, which is our scheduled departure time, so hopefully it shouldn't be much longer. And just 2 minutes later, the second jet bridge is retracting and we're ready to go. I'm getting my first look at the view from the seat and it's impressive. I love the big Dreamliner engines and I'm excited to hear them as we power out of Trudeau Airport.
Welcome on board Air Canada, and special thank you to our Aeroplan members for your loyalty. If you're not, we've got to prove it for bunch of questions.
4:05 p.m. now, and we're pushing back from the gate. With the engines up and running and the safety information video still underway, we're beginning our taxi over to runway 6 right for takeoff. The departure from runway 6 right will send us out to the east side of the airport before turning 180 degrees to begin our track towards Toronto.
Thank you for choosing to fly with Air Canada.
Merci d'avoir choisi Air Canada.
After a powerful takeoff and a long turn to the left, we're on our way to Toronto. The cabin lighting is dimmed and the in-flight service should be commencing shortly. The flight attendant came through asking what I'd like to drink and brought by a welcome back cookie. I asked for a Diet Coke and she brought it in a glass with ice and lemon. Another flight attendant then came through with snack trays. The snack on offer for today's flight was a tray of salmon, hard-boiled egg, and crackers. Given how much I'd eaten in the lounge and that I'm not much of a fan of salmon, I passed on the food. Settled in with my drink, let's take some time to tour the entertainment screen. Popping out the remote from the storage compartment, it's basically like having a miniature version of the entertainment screen in the palm of your hand. The remote is also touchscreen controlled, but has buttons on the sides for the overhead lighting, for calling an attendant, for turning off the screen, and for adjusting the volume. There are also gamepad buttons on the remote as well. The on-demand content in the system includes movies, TV shows, music, audiobooks, and podcasts. There are also sections with articles to read about your destination, Air Canada's history, and their Aeroplan frequent flyer program. You can view the in-flight service items, including beverages and food available on today's flight. There's a game section in the system as well, and also a tab for viewing your flight's arrival information. This aircraft is equipped with Wi-Fi, though it is a paid service even for business class travelers. Next, let's take a look at the in-flight maps. You can choose to view the maps either on the main screen in picture-in-picture or full screen mode, or on the remote screen. The graphics quality of the maps is very high, and there are tons of different viewing options and stats available. Checking out what the maps look like on the remote, the quality is very similar and you have the same range of viewing options available. Looking at the provided reading materials that are stowed under the seat, we have the safety information card for the Boeing 787-9 and a couple air sickness bags. The windows on the Dreamliner are huge, so they let in tons of natural light and are great for taking in all the views. Another great feature of the 787 is that the engines are super quiet, even during takeoff. On long flights, this is especially great as it makes it easier to sleep. Speaking of sleeping, I'm putting the seat back into lie flat mode to see just how comfortable it is. When fully reclined and at my height of 5'10", I fit quite well into the bed with my legs sliding nicely under the entertainment screen. I don't have to curl up at all and I'm able to stretch out, but anyone taller might have some trouble. After what's been a very peaceful and comfortable 30 minutes, we're on our descent towards Toronto's Pearson Airport. The cabin crew are coming through the cabin now, collecting items from the in-flight service. Our descent into Toronto this evening is bringing us north of the city, offering some great views of the city skyline looking south. After twisting and turning our way down to approach Pearson Airport from the north, we're now on final approach to runway 33 right.
gentlemen, welcome to Toronto. Local time at 8 minutes past 5 o'clock. Please remain seated with your seatbelt well fastened. You can baggage stowed till the seatbelt sign has been turned off. Smoking is not permitted.
On the ground at 5:05 p.m., it's a long taxi from 33 right over to Terminal 1 where we'll be parking. All of Air Canada's operations are from Terminal 1 at Pearson Airport and will be parking in the domestic section this evening. After pulling into gate D20 and turning off the fasten seatbelt sign, the service director came over and asked if I'd be interested in visiting the cockpit. I of course said yes, and he brought me up to meet the captain and take a look inside the Dreamliner flight deck.
Come on in. That's the flight deck.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Come on in.
Very cool.
After the obligatory photo op, it's time to disembark and head over to baggage claim. In general, I was extremely impressed with how friendly and outgoing all the cabin crew members were on this flight, and not just with myself, but with all the passengers on board. About 15 minutes after arriving in the baggage claim hall, my luggage was delivered and it's time to head out. Now for some comments on the experience overall. The Dreamliner cabin was impressive as always, especially the lie-flat business class seats on such a short flight. The seat was spacious, comfortable, and private with a very modern and stylish feel. The lie-flat capability was also great, and although it was wasted on this flight, it would be fantastic to have on a longer journey. The crew serving me in business class were incredibly friendly and outgoing, by far the best group I've had on board Air Canada. Talking about the domestic Maple Leaf Lounge in Montreal, on the other hand, I see lots of room for improvement here. While I was thankful to have lounge access on a domestic trip, which isn't the case for some US airlines on domestic journeys, the lounge was very outdated and the layout felt very disorganized. Nonetheless, I got some late lunch and a quiet place to sit, so beyond that I can't complain. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.